YouTube challenges me every day when it comes to an ad. It shows me weird mobile game ads that I just really didn't want to see, and it urges me whether I should play it or not. Usually I would press skip, but today I picked up the opportunity to do so. In doing which, I wanted to find what the worst mobile game was from an advertisement. I selected 5 games, played them, rated them, and got depression after that. So before this video starts, I'm going to be grading these like a fucking teacher, because I want it to be as accurate as possible, but it's probably not accurate coming to my standards. Anyways, there's going to be 2 categories. One is the gameplay. The first subcategory is going to be functionality, which means how well did the game play. The second one's going to be occupation. That means will this keep me occupied in real time? And 3 is going to be enjoyment, and that's pretty straightforward. Did I enjoy it, or will I play it again? And then our second category is accuracy, and the subcategories are 1, advertisement. Did the advertisement match the game? And 2, description. Did the description match the game? Pretty straightforward. I wanted to come up with like a simple grading scale so I wouldn't get mixed up. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this bullshit. This first game's called Homescapes, and the ads look like a bunch of fun minigames, yet unreal minigames. How the fuck would I get in this predicament? Anyways, enough rambling, let me talk about the actual game. You start off by walking in this wrecked mansion, and the main character is trying to repair the house. And then you're given some tasks, and a button pops up, and at first I supposedly thought it was going to be the minigames, but... What? What happened to Homescapes? Wasn't I supposed to be greeted with minigames? Right off the bat, that's false advertisement, and this is already not looking so good. Anyways, I got bored of the game, I completed the first day, then I stopped. So, to grade this on gameplay, I gave the functionality a 6 out of 10. It plays well, it's a decent game, it's just not fulfilling, it's just straightforward. I can download Candy Crush and play something better. Occupation gets a 4 out of 10, because it's basically the same thing. I'm not saying Candy Crush is good, but it's mind-numbing. I gave enjoyment a 2 out of 10, because it feels like a game I would download for another game, telling me if I were to download Homescapes, I would win 5 gems and then delete it and then forget about it my entire life. So in total, that gives gameplay a 12 out of 30. Accuracy, I gave the advertisement a 2 out of 10, because yes, there are mini-games in the game, it just happens once in a blue moon. And then description gets an 8 out of 10, because most of it fits normally, but it just doesn't talk about how it's fucking Candy Crush. So that gives accuracy a 10 out of 20, totaling up to 22 out of 50, which is 44%. Oh my god, Lily's Garden. This one's gotten a lot of controversy, and I can see why. What the fuck is this? There was literally no gameplay. All it is her getting pleasure from a fucking washing machine. This game is targeted towards 9-year-olds, and that's honestly pretty disgusting if you think about it. Anyways, coming from the ad, I thought this would have some sort of like provocative activity in it. Then I played it. Who would have known that this is literally an exact fucking replica of Homescapes? This game's honestly really disappointing. There was no sexual content. Not that I wanted sexual content, like holy shit. It's just an ad that showed what the game wasn't, so it's false advertising. And I mean, it was just a carbon copy of Homescapes, so what can I really do? Starting with gameplay, I'm gonna give the functionality a 6 out of 10. Like Homescapes, it plays decently, but I don't have much to go off of. Occupation gets a 2 out of 10 because like Homescapes, it's mind-numbing. I would just play Homescapes rather than Lily's Garden because at least Homescapes is a little more accurate on their advertising. Enjoyment got a 1 out of 10. I mean, it's basically playing the same game, so I got bored after 5 minutes. So that gives gameplay a 9 out of 30. We're going to accuracy now. Advertisements just get a 0 out of 10. No gameplay in any of the ads, and it's just sexualized content, so what can I really go off of? Description gets a 7 out of 10 because it's practically the game, but then again, the flaw with Homescapes, it doesn't read that it has like a Candy Crush gameplay. So that gives accuracy a 7 out of 20, which totals up to 16 out of 50, which is a 32%. You can really tell I hate a lot of mobile games. Alright, for our third game we have Blackout Bingo, and supposedly you can earn real cash with this app. I mean, even Snoop Dogg talked about it.
That Blackout Bingo is a for show.
Ooh, but they paid him to do that. Ooh, what a bummer. Playing the actual game was just like Bingo, except it was easy, a weird voice was talking to me, and I was alone. And about the cash aspect of it, I read 3 reviews, and honestly, they're a little fishy if you think about it. You can pause to read these reviews, but this first one, the reviewer calls the algorithm not realistic, and her friend who's a mathematician even laughed at her, but still gave it a 4 out of 5, so I don't really get that review. The second one's talking about the cash deposit taking 2 months to get to them, and saying the other ones took shorter, but never really specified how much. Could have been $1 deposit, with $5 withdrawn. It could just be a small profit margin. And the third one literally just sounds like somebody on the team trying to promote their game. So I don't really have much to look at that one. I just thought that was kind of weird. So for functionality, I gave it a 4 out of 10 because the layout was just weird, and when I went to the shop menu, there were just too many buttons. I feel like I was on like a fucking spaceship. Occupation gets a 3 out of 10 because, I mean, it's literally just giving you numbers in bingo. So it's really easy, and it's just not fun. I can go to a senior home and play better bingo there. Enjoyment got a 1 out of 10 because likewise with Lily's Garden, the fatal flaw with that is that I got bored, so I stopped it after 5 minutes. So that gives the gameplay an 8 out of 30. Advertisement gives it 0 out of 10 because you don't win money that fast like the advertisements tell you. On ads, it shows that there's notifications of PayPal just popping up left and right, when in reality, you win a game and it's like $5 at max. I know damn well Snoop Dogg didn't play it. Description gets a 5 out of 10 because it talks about the game, yet it's just false about the money aspect of the game. So accuracy gets a 5 out of 20, totaling up to a 13 out of 50, which is a 26%. This one's called Evany, and the advertisements show a puzzle of somebody trying to get to treasure while trying to avoid a big monster or lava. Usually this ad shows a stupid fucking player and they always fucking die, which infuriates me. But that's besides the point. I'm here for the actual game. I opened the game and I was greeted with this pretty fucking, like, cinematic intro. Like, Jesus Christ. If Evany made a movie, I would probably 100% see it. And then right when I joined, I miraculously got a minigame, so that's pretty cool. But the game is mainly just like a Clash of Clans style game, and these minigames aren't particularly rare too, so that's pretty good. But the ads only show minigames and none of the actual gameplay, so that might be a little flaw. So I'm giving the functionality a 7 out of 10 because it's like I said, solid gameplay and has a Clash of Clans concept. Obviously I would play Clash of Clans over this, but if I were forced to play this, I honestly wouldn't mind because it's pretty decent. I give the occupation a 7 out of 10 because realistically, this could keep me occupied. And again, comparing it to Clash of Clans, there's a lot of things you could do. You can buy towers, you can level up stuff. Enjoyment gets a 6 out of 10 because there's a lot of tasks and raiding like Clash of Clans, and like I said, those splices of minigames, so that gives gameplay a really good 20 out of 30. So for advertisements, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The only reason is that it only shows the minigames and not the ads, but in the game it gives a lot more of those minigames, unlike Homescape does. Description just gets a 10 out of 10, because it summed up the game perfectly and mentioned even the gameplay and minigames, so it sums up everything nicely. So accuracy gets a 16 out of 20, totaling up to a 36 out of 50, which is a 72%. That's pretty fucking good for a game with weird ads. Last and probably the least is called King's Throne Game of Lust. We're already off to a bad start when it has Game of Lust in the title. And these advertisements are equally, if not worse, than Lily's Garden. It basically shows a bunch of fictional fantasy women half naked and body parts almost showing. And might I say, this is targeted towards children too. Now when you go on the App Store or Google Play Store, obviously it'll say it's for 17 and up. But I play this game called Dragon Veil, which is like a 10 out of 10 game for me because I play it every day of my living life. Not sponsored, by the way. When I click on something to give me like gems or money, it usually sometimes throws in a King's Throne Game of Lust ad. Dragon Veil, mainly for kids, getting an ad that's mainly for 17-year-olds, is not supposed to mix. It's like oil and water. You don't mix it. It's honestly a disgusting concept to think about, and it's just really horrid. Aside from that, the gameplay's dog shit, and it's basically a boring Clash of Clans ripoff. I didn't even bother deep diving into this game because it was just incredibly underwhelming and low budget. So, functionality gets a 1 out of 10. It's like Evany. Got thrown in a fucking blender and got mangled. The gameplay's horrible. Occupation gets a 1 out of 10 also because it's boring as hell and it's just a really bad Clash of Clans concept. It's like somebody who hasn't played Clash of Clans before try and make a Clash of Clans style game. Enjoyment gets a 2 out of 10 because yes, it's like that Clash of Clans style game, but it's just not enjoyable. So that totals up for a 4 out of 30. Advertisements get a 0 out of 10. It's similar to Lily's Garden, but it just sexualizes fantasy women in the worst way possible, and the gameplay is also boring. Description gets a 3 out of 10, because it's just describing the boring game, and it doesn't even describe, like, what the ads are showing. So that gives it a 3 out of 10, giving this game a staggering 7 out of 50, which is a 14%. So what do we learn from this experiment? What I learned is that there's a bunch of shitty mobile game ads out there. Ones that are stupid, ones that are confusing, and some that are over-sexualized, not safe for viewer, and targeted towards children mainly. And honestly, that's just fucking weird. Anyways, the moment you've been waiting for. I've placed these all from 1 to 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the absolute worst. So let's start off with 1. So obviously in first place we have Ebony with a 72%. Ebony gives off what's at least half advertised in their ads and is pretty frequent in the game. The game mechanics are pretty easy to follow, and overall, it's pretty action-packed with fun minigames popping up here and there. Honestly, I had low expectations for Ebony, but it honestly surprised me how good it was. Second place, we have Homescapes with a 44%. Homescapes advertises fun puzzles to get the player out of trouble, but only actually does that once in a blue moon. Not once in the ad did it show a Candy Crush-based gameplay, so it's false advertising too. Overall, not fun, but playable if I was desperate. Third place goes to Lily Garden with a 32%. And I docked a shit ton of points off for the ads for a few reasons. It doesn't even show gameplay of the actual game. Its over-sexualized advertisements are targeted to kids, and it's a copy-paste of Homescapes. Even in the Candy Crush aspect, they could have changed that up a little bit just to give it a little bit of detail, but they decided not to. And I'll be honest, I don't know who copied who. I played Homescapes first, so that means Lily's Garden came second. So, in my eyes, Lily's Garden copied Homescapes. I don't care if it's switched around, they're both shit. Long story short, if I saw you playing Lily's Garden on your phone actually, I would snap your phone in half. Fourth place goes to Blackout Bingo with a 26%.
You are boring. B-O-R-N-I-N-G. Boring.
This game's just flat out boring. This app advertises you can win free cash just by playing bingo. Even Snoop Dogg said it. All it is easy bingo that says you can win money, but probably take months to do so. Horrible game, would not recommend it. You probably guessed what game is in 5th place. It's obviously King's Throne with a whopping 14%. This game just sucks. It's horrible, dog shit. The advertisements show what's practically porn to a children's audience, which is fucking gross. I don't know how many times I've said that, but it's weird. And having downloaded the game, this being the gameplay. This game is underwhelming, has over-sexualized advertisements. It's boring, not what it advertised, and most importantly, disgusting how it advertises towards children. Anyways, what a fun fucking journey. This goes to show that a lot of games on the market are absolutely not what they are. It's truly devastating how bad the advertisements for games have gotten. The only thing I hope for in the future for games like that is to actually show what's in the game, and not sexualize content. That way, your ad might be not good, but at least it's honest. Anyways, that's all I have to say for mobile gaming ads. They've gotten really bad and they need to focus on making it better. Make sure to subscribe. I usually don't ask it, but I've seen my channel growing a little bit and it's just making me pretty excited. I put a good amount of effort in this video too. Like, I literally have post-it notes written down about my reviews. But aside from that, I'm done with these advertisements, and I want them to burn in hell. Anyways, I'm gonna go promote Minecraft in an over-sexualized way.